I bought these very traditional red nightstands at auction for just under $100. On the way home, I even stopped at Home Depot to buy wood so I could build a new base and modernize them. But in the parking lot, when I was measuring them, I took a look underneath and grabbed my screwdriver because I realized something. I might not need to build a base after all. Once I got them home and took a closer look, I discovered they were actually solid wood Sure-Mag nightstands. So today I'm taking these from well-used, dated, cherry furniture to a much more modern designer look. Hi, I'm Lana, and together let's make something beautiful, something made for you. The first thing I need to do is deal with this base and confirm whether or not my parking lot suspicions were actually valid. That's crazy, because that's exactly what I was going to do to the base, and I was going to make my first ever base, and now I don't have to. I just need to fill those holes. My favorite wood filler is Fama wood. I usually get it in a natural. I'm putting a fairly generous amount of wood filler in here. Let's take a look at this hardware. Now, I may not be super popular because this looks like it's brass hardware, but I do not like this style. I feel it really dates these. I'm going to measure the hole spacing and see what I've got in my hardware stash that might fit. You can see that that's one solid piece. I'm excited to see what we've got going on with this wood here. I'm using Fusion TSP Alternative mixed up in a spray bottle to clean. And this gets rid of any grease and grime and furniture polish, which we don't want to grind into our wood when we're sanding. Okay, I know the sanding sequence is never all that exciting, but let's face it, it takes the most time when you're going down to raw wood. This is 80 grit. I'm hand sanding around the edges. Now I'm using acetone to remove a little bit more of that finish. Now I'm using 80 grit on the top. Then I'm moving to 120 grit, mesh this time. And finally 180 grit sandpaper. And then everything gets one last hand sand with 180 grit sandpaper. This makes sure that there's no swirl marks and you have a nice, smooth, even finish. Okay, I made you watch 1 minute, but it was really more like at least 2 hours. It's been a few days and now I'm able to get back to working on these nightstands. The next step is dealing with the old hardware holes and getting the surfaces ready for paint. I've decided I'll be using knobs, so we need a really invisible repair where the original pulls were. So first I'll remove the existing hardware and give the drawers a really good clean. I've filled a lot of hardware holes over the years and tried a lot of different products, and this process is the one that consistently leaves no trace of what was there before. First, I fill the holes with Bondo. Bondo is one of my favorite products for this because it dries quickly and sands really nicely. While the Bondo starts to set up, I move on to the rest of the piece. I clean the body of the nightstands and start sanding the base to remove the filled screw holes and any other imperfections left behind from removing that detailed scrolled trim. See how I snuck in a little more sanding work there? Once the Bondo has started to firm up but isn't completely dry, I scrape it back. And then I apply Fama wood filler over top. While the wood filler dries on the drawers, I continue the prep work on the body of the nightstands, sanding a bit more of the base with 180 grit and scuff sanding the rest of the body to get it ready for primer and paint. Once the wood filler is dry, I go back and sand the drawers smooth. And for the final little imperfections, I use a bit of Bondo spot putty, both on the drawers and in a couple small areas on the base. Once that dries, I hand sand those spots smooth and wipe everything down so the surfaces are clean and ready for the next step. Normally, when I seal wood before painting, I apply shellac with a roller, but this time I'm applying it with the spray shellac because I already have it on hand. And this actually works really well, especially getting into those little detailed areas. Cherry is notorious for bleed through, so sealing everything with shellac really helps lock that in before priming. And sealing with shellac is actually the final step to these perfectly smooth filled hardware holes. Once the shellac dries, I lightly hand sand everything with 400 grit sandpaper and then wipe back all the dust. This helps knock down any high spots or small drips, which can happen more easily with spray applications. Once that's done, I move on to primer. In this case, I'm using a black primer. Now, you might be thinking, didn't she already prime with shellac? And the answer is yes. This additional primer isn't strictly necessary, but when you're painting darker colors, it can really help reduce the number of coats of paint that you need. And finally, it's time to move on to paint. I'm using Sherwin-Williams urethane trim enamel, which is honestly one of my favorite paints for furniture. And one of the reasons I like it so much is that it doesn't require a top coat, which is really great with darker colors where top coats can cause them to look streaky. Another nice thing about this paint is that you can custom mix colors. In this case, I actually mixed a mix. I was aiming for more of a green-blue tone, but it ended up leaning a bit more blue-green, which sometimes happens when you're experimenting with color. Normally, I apply this paint with a microfiber roller, but this time I tried using a foam roller, and I actually really liked the way the finish turned out, especially on a piece with a lot of edges and detail. It's definitely more on the expensive side, but Sherwin-Williams does run sales pretty regularly, so you can usually pick it up at a reduced price if you watch for that. I'm applying 2 coats of paint on the body and do 3 coats on the drawers. Before the final coat of paint on the drawers, though, I drill holes for the new knobs. I measure the center of each drawer, both horizontally and vertically, mark the spot with a punch so the drill bit doesn't wander, and then drill the hole. Drilling before this final coat helps seal the raw edges of the hole with paint so everything looks clean once the hardware is installed. With the paint done, I remove the tape from the wood areas. You'll notice a little bit of shellac sometimes bleeds through the tape line, which can happen when the tape isn't completely sealed. So before moving on, I lightly hand sand those areas to remove any of that shellac. If I left it there, the paint wash and stain wouldn't absorb the same way, and those spots would show up differently in the final finish. Once that's sanded back, the wood is ready for the next step. I've taped off the painted areas to protect them while I work on the wood. And I'm starting with the base first so I can test this process and make sure I'm happy with the color before moving on to the tops. One of the challenges with pieces like this is the strong red undertones in cherry wood. If you just stain over it, that red tends to show through and it can be difficult to get a more neutral, modern, medium wood tone. So the first step is doing a green wash. Why green? Well, green sits opposite red on the color wheel, so a green wash can help balance the red undertones and make it look more like a neutral brown before you apply a stain. It really doesn't matter which green you can use any green paint and just dilute it with water. With that green wash dry, I start experimenting with stain. My first attempt is a walnut stain and finishing oil. This is a Fusion mineral product. This gives a really rich color, but it ends up being a bit darker than the look I was going for. I'm trying adding a taupe stain and finishing oil, which lightened things up, but pushed it a little too far in the other direction. So to bring it back to the tone I have in mind, I'm adding a natural stain and finishing oil. This helps rebalance everything and lands somewhere right in the middle. I repeat the same process on the tops so everything matches. If you're enjoying this video and finding it helpful, please let me know in the comments and consider giving it a like. It would really help me out. Now that I'm happy with the color, the only thing left to do is go back and repair those screw holes that I left behind when I removed the base. I used Blend All sticks and then seal those repairs with Perfect Blend. I'm not going to go deep into that process here, but I've shown how I do these repairs in detail on a few other projects, which I'll link in the description. I had this floral wallpaper in my stash, and the blue-green tones and pattern just work really nicely with the paint color and the stained wood. It's a small detail, but opening a drawer and seeing something finished inside just makes the piece feel much more complete somehow. With the liners in place, it's time to install the hardware. I also tried using some hardware from my stash, but the color just wasn't quite right for this piece, so I ended up picking up a new set of knobs instead. With those final touch-ups done and the finish where I want it, it's time to put everything back together. Let's take one last look at the before. And here's how they look now. By simplifying the base, neutralizing the red tones in the wood, and combining paint with a natural wood finish, they now fit much better with today's more modern aesthetic. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoy furniture makeovers like this one, consider subscribing. It really helps my small channel. If you'd like the full list of tools and products I used, you can find them in the description below.